A dirty trick debt collectors like to use and what to do about it. Brought to you by Kenneth Chabert at yourlegallagup.com. Your advantage if you're being sued by debt collectors. One of the most common complaints I hear from people pursued by debt collections is that the debt collectors have tricked them into not going to court. Then they get a default judgment and start taking your money away. Don't let that happen to you. Here's how to spot this one coming, and what to do about it if it's already happened to you. The way it comes up is that the defendant, you, or the person being sued, receives the summons and petition only a relatively few days before the date given on the summons for when you're supposed to show up in court. The person being sued panics, either because the date set is extremely inconvenient or because they do not have the resources to fight the suit regardless of which day is set for court. The debt collector wants to trick you into staying away from court. So you call the debt collection law firm and ask to speak to the lawyer suing you. The lawyer will not speak to you, usually, and so you're forced to speak to some clerk, actually a skilled collection agent, who might not be a very nice person. The law firm then plays a good cop, bad cop routine where the person speaking to you takes a message and agrees to get back to you with the words of the lawyer. Or they play tough but fair and outright refuse to move the court date. They're really nice about it. Bastards. They routinely move court dates for lawyers. Either way, they want you to be maximally inconvenienced because they really, really, really don't want you to show up or defend yourself. They say they will, however, agree to come to an arrangement that makes your going to court unnecessary. Isn't that nice? Then they either create an agreement and send it to you or not. But if you think that going to court is unnecessary and don't go, then the debt collector often calls for default. That's asks the judge to give them a default judgment, whether you have an agreement or not. Too many people have told me it happened this way for me to doubt it. But the agreement is usually a complete giving up anyway. No, 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 no! Don't let this happen to you. If you can't go to the court on the date specified in the petition, maybe you could file an answer denying the allegations of their suit and add a counterclaim for unfair debt collection by refusing to move, it's called continue, the court date for you when they would do so for a lawyer. Because aren't they just trying to take unfair advantage of your schedule to keep you from fighting for your rights? So after filing your answer, you might file a motion to continue your court date with the court, telling it that you tried to work out the continuance with the other side, but that it would not cooperate. Ask the court's clerk for the continuance date and put that into your motion. It's really just fair, isn't it, to give you a chance to defend yourself? See, courts will almost always continue a case if a lawyer asks for it. And if you file an answer first, and then your request to continue, they'll do it for you, too. Don't forget to file an entry of appearance, too. Now, if the debt collector has already tricked you and gotten a default judgment, all is not lost, but you must act quickly. You should know that the law does not favor default judgments. This means that they lean against allowing them to stand if you make a decent argument against them. There's a trick to setting aside defaults, which is a little too detailed for purposes of this video, but you can find it in my materials. If you allege that the debt collector tricked you into defaulting, or tried to trick you into defaulting, you are alleging that it is engaged in unfair debt collection practices. Unfair debt collection practices violate the Fair Debt Collection Practices Act and could maybe form the basis of a counterclaim. Give it some thought. You may not consider this video or anything I say in this or any video as legal advice. I cannot give you legal advice, but I do know the legal process and debt law very well, so use what I say as a source of information and apply your own judgment to your case. To get more help on fighting debt collectors and their lawsuits, go to yourlegallagup.com. Get my litigation manual and forms, and defend yourself from the debt collectors.